Hello, dear viewer, and welcome to another episode of the Catholic League Forum. I'm Mike McDonald, Director of Communications at the Catholic League, and joining me today is Bill Donohue, President and CEO of the Catholic League. Now, Bill, unless people have been living under a rock, the big story this week has been this leaked document coming out of the Supreme Court about potentially overturning Roe v. Wade once they make the decision in the Dobbs-Jackson case. You raised a lot of good points this week on this. We had a lot to say about this. Obviously, this has been a central issue for the Catholic Church, people of the Catholic faith, for a very long time. But you opened this week in our commentary on this, focusing on the lies told about abortion. Can you tell us what some of those lies are?
Yeah, it is amazing that, there's really two stories here. One, of course, as you mentioned, is the leak itself.
Yes.
People on any side, whatever side you're on, you should condemn that. Because if that's going to be the wave of the future, then it's going to come back to haunt you who disagree with us. Because that's just the way it's going to be.
Yep.
And then you won't have a Supreme Court. It'll be thoroughly politicized. Outside of Dick Durbin and a few other people, Democrats, he was pretty good. At least he said, I'm against that. Most won't even condemn it. The White House has not condemned it.
No.
No, they seem to like that. Yeah, there's all kinds of lies about this. First of all, it goes back to the time before abortion. Back in the 1960s, right up to 1973, when the decision was made, people said, well, all these women are, with their coat hangers, and they're dying left and right. Women are tripping over each other in the bathrooms and whatnot, killing each other. It's all a lie, people. 5 to 10,000 women a year dying because of self-induced abortion. That's what they said. Now, how do we know it's a lie?
How do we know, Bill?
Because of Dr. Bernard Nathanson, who was the head of NARAL, who pushed for the idea of abortion on demand until he saw the sonogram and he converted from being the Jewish faith, actually was an atheist, and he came over to the Catholic faith. So he made good. I want to make it clear in the end. But Nathanson said we made up the numbers. We don't know what the number was, but by the way, we do know the number. In 1972, the year before Roe v. Wade, the number of women who died of self-induced abortions was 39. That's not in question. That's from the Guttmacher Institute. That's from CDC. Okay, so not 5 to 10,000. And they said, well, women are being prosecuted all over the country. Two cases. 1911, 1922. All right? 2 cases. So we have the evidence. That's what we do at the Catholic League. We have opinions, yes, but our opinions are based on the evidence. And then, of course, the whole idea of that this was found in the Constitution. Even people like Alan Dershowitz, Lawrence Tribe out of Harvard. They both worked together at Harvard for years. Archibald Cox, he was at Harvard. The New Republic, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. They were all on the side of abortion rights, but they all said, this is not a decision for the courts to make. This is for the Congress, the state lawmakers, the legislature. It's not for the justices to make. So there's some lies. They lied about Norm McCorvey, who's the Jane Roe in Roe v. Wade. She lied when she said, I was raped. She was never raped. Okay, so they were just challenging the Texas law. So, yeah, it's built on lies.
Yeah. I just want to pivot a little bit there. You brought up the subject of rape. That's another lie that people frequently tell us. But in reality, it's about only 1% of abortions are the result of rape. And rape should be punished in its strongest form. We had a piece out in the week as well pointing out that 45% of abortions are for women who've previously had an abortion.
Right.
And this is a very baffling thing. You hear all the time that abortion is a tragedy, and it really is, and it's very hard for the mother to go through. But then you also have this enigma, you called it, of people going back time and time again.
If almost half of all the abortions are done on women who've already had a prior abortion, that's a very scary subject to deal with. There's a lot of troubled people out there. And by the way, we are consistent too. We think that the law, however they want to deal with this, we're going to live in the post-Roe world. And it's not just a matter of punishing people, but if you're going to address the woman, and we need to stop, we ought to begin with the women who come back, the recidivists, repeat offenders. We have to also address the men.
Yes.
These guys have gotten away with it for too long. Every single poll has always shown that single men are the biggest defenders of a woman's right to choose. I wonder why. All right? Here's my MasterCard. Get rid of it on your lunch hour, honey. No, the men have gotten away with this for too long. But that can't excuse either the woman who goes to the abortionist. And when you go back, as I talked about, one woman 15, 16 times, I mean, please, there's something seriously wrong here, and we have to address that particular issue. By the way, in terms of the case of rape, John Cardinal O'Connor, the previous Archbishop of New York, he once was before an audience and he had two babies, and he said, both of them about the same age, little infants. Can you tell me which one was the result, born as a result of rape? His point was, yeah, rape is wrong, rape is terrible. It doesn't make things better when you kill the child. And what do we say to the people like, take a look at the Abortion Survivors Network? There are many women and men, but the women are more likely to speak up about it than the men, who have survived an abortion. The mother tried to abort them, but they survived. Now, when you look at them, what do you say to them? That there wasn't, you weren't alive inside your mother? I mean, look, people, everybody knows abortion kills. So
Yes.
please, let's stop with the lies.
Yes, yes. Another interesting lie we heard this week on the subject of abortion came from the President of the United States, Joe Biden, saying that no mainstream religion believes or has quantified when life begins, even though as a devout Catholic, allegedly, he claims to go to church every Sunday, but our faith clearly says life begins at conception.
Well, yes, and that's important. I think it's even more important to say that we don't follow the science, we're out in front of it.
Yes.
Science says, all right, forget about the Catholic Church for a moment. Science says that the DNA properties which you have are what make you a unique human being. They're not there a week after conception, 6 months later. They're there at conception. The properties are there, and if undisturbed, that zygote will turn into a full human being unless it's disturbed naturally or unnaturally through an abortion's scalpel. So, yeah, we have to recognize this and just tell the truth.
Yep, absolutely. Shifting up gears a little bit, Bill, we also dealt with another element of human sexuality this week. Another problem that a lot of people seem to be having lately is identifying what a woman is and what a man is.
Right.
So we decided to help them out a little bit. We got a couple of anatomy textbooks and started reading.
And I gave them to Mike. We looked at the most popularly, widely used textbooks in the medical schools on anatomy. And Mike had to go through it, and guess what? He learned that there is such a thing as
a woman and a man. They're two completely
now,
separate.
What about a third?
You know, Bill, I looked very hard for
I know,
that. I looked, but I could not find it. And that was one of the things that jumped out to me right away going through this is, you go on libs of TikTok, you see all these crazy people on the internet saying, well, there are these intersex people out there. And
I've never met one. I just don't know.
And we need to teach the 4-year-olds about them.
Right.
Because
non-binary? Did you run into a non-binary person in the textbooks?
There was no non-binary persons. There's none of that. But there are serious medical conditions that do exist.
Right.
But even these textbooks don't bring it up. But somehow we need to teach a 4-year-old about things that a first-year medical student is not learning.
But, and you said that there are some people who believe that. Let's just qualify that for a moment. The only people who believe it are people who were in school for a long time. I didn't say well-educated. I said you're in school for a long time. The average person, the average Joe, knows that there's either a man and a woman. But if you've been drunk with ideology, and you swallow the moonshine of today, and you reject the idea of nature and nature's God, then you're open to the idea that maybe there's something else out there, an intersex, non-binary, some kind of freak out there. Nope, you're either a male or a female. And we have the proof. We settled the argument at the Catholic League.
Yep.
Anatomy textbooks prove that, and you know what? I've had prostate cancer, all right? Thank God I didn't go to a gynecologist. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been cured.
Absolutely. Now, Bill, just to sort of wrap things up here, very strong piece out today on Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all of our watchers out there. But this is an interesting Mother's Day, as you point out. These are abnormal times. And can you tell us why we're living in abnormal times?
Well, it dovetails pretty much with what we said there. The idea that men can become pregnant. The ACLU says men can become pregnant. Corey Bush thinks men can become pregnant. Harvard Medical School is teaching that men can become pregnant. Can they miscarriage too, Mike? I don't know. Did they ever have a C-section? I wonder. Anyhow, look, this is the madness of the elites. It's only the ruling class that is drinking from this well of delusion, and we will not put up with it at the Catholic League. So yeah, this is where we're going now. two men who have adopted. They can't have children on their own, obviously. They can't do that. So they depend on somebody else, a man and a woman, to have the child, or the impregnated woman artificially. And then they have the child, and then there are two men. What do you have? Two fathers on Mother's Day. So what do you say to the kid? Now, what about the guys who are saying, "Well, I'm really pregnant"? I even spoke about a guy who tried to milk. He tried to milk, and I call him the milkman. Okay, so he's giving new term, new feathers to the milkman. He said he was very disappointed that he couldn't latch. The baby wanted to latch. You see, as I say, in an earlier day, they would be in the asylum. We would check them in, would call the police, they would call the ambulance, they bring them in, they get the stretcher, they put on the what do they call that? The straitjacket. No, if you had to bring in the straitjacket today, you'd have to go to all the colleges, the universities. You'd have to go to Hollywood.
Yep.
Boy, you'd have to go to the White House. Because we wouldn't have enough places for these people.
We wouldn't have enough straitjackets.
No, we wouldn't have enough straitjackets. But let me tell you, yeah, I agree. Let's wish everybody a happy Mother's Day. These other people are living in La La Land. Many years from now, I'll be long dead, and people will look back, historians, and they'll say, "What the hell happened in the United States of America, in Canada, and in Europe?" Notice it's all where the well-educated white people are, who always come up with these delusional ideas. Give me the Latin Americans, the Africans, the Middle Easterns, and the Asians, because they're not drunk on ideology.
Absolutely. So it feels like a good spot to wrap it up again. Happy Mother's Day. Also, be sure to check out all of our stories. They're available at CatholicLeague.org. We'll have a link in the description below. And also, if you could please give this video a like and subscribe, we greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.